Does financial literacy work? Well, I love this topic because I've committed my life to it. I'm a part of 30 years of doing this, 25 years at our big table. So financial literacy, I think, is as critical as learning to walk and talk, do the basics. So what does financial literacy really mean? Let's go into a legal definition. And what does it say? So yes, financial literacy works. When it's applied, knowing how money works changes your behavior, your decision making, and long-term results. But education, again, without action, does not create wealth. And I'm going to add it doesn't even create a great entrepreneur, because if you're not an entrepreneur that really understands your P&Ls, your balance sheets, your margins, you don't know what you're actually doing. Implementation is critical to financial literacy. So we're going to talk about, again, just described what it means. What are the outcomes it changes? Because it will change you and it will change your family's ability to have a legacy. And why knowledge alone isn't enough. So what does financial literacy really mean? So I'm going to use it in my terms. So you understand how you get cash flow. How you get cash flow is from great marketing, which is getting a lead, and then selling, which is making the lead a client. Now you have some cash to count. It's so funny when I'm working with people and they actually have a bookkeeper on retainer, but not anybody in the marketing department on retainer. It's like, well, there's no money to count because you're not doing the first, which is marketing, and then sales and cash flow. So in business and in wealth building, you have to know your cash flow. You want to know all your assets. You want to know liabilities. You want to understand your margins. And you really want to understand your financial statements. And for many of you, especially if you've been following us for a while and you're living corporate life, you really need to understand corporate life is which of the companies. So again, I always use the example, if you have 3 companies and yourself, who pays what bills, where's your P&L, and then how do you summarize it all in a personal financial statement? That's financial literacy. People who are financially literate save, invest 2 to 3 times more than people who are not financially literate. And I got to say this about financial literacy. So many people say, why didn't the schools teach it? It is not their job, parents. It is your job to teach you and your family and to lean in. So many people ask, how do I end up in this career and this profession? I hired a lot of great mentors who are entrepreneurs and wealth builders. So there isn't a school for this. And yeah, you could go off and there's a lot of universities who say they have an entrepreneurial bachelor's degree. It's taught by people who typically have never run a company. So there's very, very few structures that teach it. And I agree, it is the base of everything. From the minute you walk on the planet, someone is paying for you to live and come to life, pay your food, diapers, get you up and walking. And till the end of time, somebody's going to pay all the way to your death certificate, ideally not probate afterwards. So money has the most impact in your life. Why it's not taught? Not up to me to decide. It's just something I'm going to choose, and you have to choose it as well, which means you got to lean in and learn. So for that, I'm going to give you a first gift. My Millionaire Maker version 2 just came out in April of 2025, where we updated it with 40 extra testimonials and stories of people and how they're working on their millionaire plan, and majority of them have become millionaires already. The last thing around financial literacy that is actually vital, and I use the word different, not difficult, means wealth building. We know how to play every strategy, and it's not like play a game, because I don't like those terms. These are actual legal strategies that work, that cut your tax bill down to single digits in the teens, and you say you can't get below 20. You can if you use all of the strategies in tandem to each other. That's part of the integration. So you out there just figuring this out by yourself was saying, well, I'm going to try to find a tax person like Loral has. I'm going to try to find a bookkeeper. I'm going to find insurance, and try to put it together yourself. Good luck, because there's no legal incentive. The financial services world is segregated for a reason, is to keep all of your experts not talking to each other, and you stand in the middle going, I still don't know what I'm doing. So the integration is vital to your success. So what happens for those of you who don't choose financial literacy, like you might have read Rich Dad Poor Dad, you might have read Think and Grow Rich, you might have read My Millionaire Maker version 1, or some of my books. That doesn't mean the execution following actually was done right. You have no idea how many clients I get that opened their own LLC, their own company, tried to do their own trust, and we have to rework all of it because they don't have enough content and knowledge around what it takes to do a true execution. I'm going to say fear, anxiety, lack of knowledge is what I think that the fear is about. Is your lack of knowledge of truly learning in and understanding the actionable execution of how to run the 3 companies. How do you run your own personal bank accounts? How do you run your full financials? How does money move in your life? And the basic understanding of that is just not known. And honestly, it's not taught. It's what we do so differently here at Integrated Wealth Systems. Not only do we integrate you with my team, so it's myself and 28 other financial and business experts that help you guide your life and how you're going to create the legacy that you want, becoming a great entrepreneur, paying the minimum amount of taxes, and creating a wealth building strategy. So financial literacy is absolutely vital, and I would put it on your 2026 list to read all 6 of my books if you haven't done it. And you can get them by having a one-on-one conversation with our team. Actually, the kids book you're going to have to get. You can go get that at the makeyourkidsmillionaires.com. It's a link that's in the show notes below. But talk to our team and read up to chapter 3 and fill out a gap analysis. That's where you are and what do you want. And then we will work on where your gaps are and how we could be a solution towards that in your future. Financial literacy is a choice, and you have to make it for you and your family and then start including them in this conversation. So to that point, I want you to subscribe to this channel. I want you to click the notification button. I want to be in your phone every day, 5 days a week, and everybody in your household that's 5 years old and up should also be on the channel. We made this family-friendly intentional so you can actually share this information and share it with 10 other people. Like, give it away for the holiday. It's absolutely critical for your success. So why knowledge is absolutely vital. You aren't going to learn without it. You can abdicate your responsibility. I call it park and pray. You can park and pray with some expert and hope to God they're going to do what they say. They don't care about your money like you care about your money. Now, there are some wealth managers and some strategists, and you're going to get the randoms that might actually care. But in general, it's not like that. Most CPAs are historians. They record your behavior. They don't help dictate and move your money and your patterns because they're usually not great entrepreneurs. So our tax teams are all entrepreneurs. They own companies other than their tax practice. So they actually understand being an entrepreneur. They understand marketing. They understand sales. They understand the cash flow. And they understand the law. Last thing I want to say about financial literacy is also just keeping up. You got to keep up. Like the big, beautiful bill, it is coming into effect 2026. Started in July with a few changes this year for this tax planning year, but 2026 is vital. There's 4 different major categories that are affected by the big, beautiful bill. So we'll be getting into that and continuing to educate you, but that's part of financial literacy. And you can always be guaranteed that here at Integrated Wealth Systems, we keep up with what's going on in the economy and how to keep in front of it so you stay in front of your plan. If you have any questions at any point, please go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, ask a question, make a request. We'll be back tomorrow with more on financial literacy and how you can become wealthy.